At my sister last weekend at college, and she was
Hampshire.
Yeah, and she was quite the loyal royal over the summer, and so I thought it was time to come back, and I'm very glad that I did.
Yay! Thanks for coming back. We love you.
Right. Her poem about her sister.
Yep. Then is the fact that I kind of look like a shorter version of her. A little bit. Okay, so I wrote this little story. I hope you enjoy it. All right. Once upon a time, in a land only remembered in the hearts of dreamers, there was an old oak and an old elm. On a warm summer's day, old elm birthed a beautiful baby girl. She grew quickly and was as beautiful as time is long. She had sun-kissed brown skin and brown hair to match. Her eyes burned with a fire blazing in her passionate soul. She was named Jua, meaning sun. 5 seasons passed. As the wind howled and the night fell on a winter landscape, old elm bared another daughter. She tumbled from the slippery branches of her mother and landed in the freezing snow. Immediately, all color drained from her infantine skin. The wind picked her up and lodged her in the warm branches of her parents' neighbor, the pine. The next morning, when all was still, oak and elm reached over and plucked their baby from the arms of the pine. The girl was whiter than moonshine, and her hair was long and darker than night. Her eyes were a kaleidoscope of every color of the natural world, yet at the same time they were clear. They named her Usiku, meaning night. The 2 girls grew older, and Oak and Elm noticed that Usiku didn't notice the world the way that the other children in the forest did. They favored Jua because their beautiful daughter gained the love of everyone she met, while their younger daughter worked twice as hard and earned half the love. They started referring to Usiku as Little One because she didn't grow as quickly as the others. Little One most often liked being alone. She would make herself beautiful flowing dresses out of strands of thread from spiders' webs. Then Little One would skip through the muddy marshes, laughing as the ground oozed between her pale toes. She would come home and sit on the grass, crying over the mud stains on her long skirts. However, try as she might, Little One couldn't give up running through her favorite marshes. In the times that Little One wasn't happy alone, she was a dreadfully lonely child. Every day she would go down to the river and swim with the small snakes, as they were lonely too. No one wanted to be around them, and Little One understood the feeling. Her sister had started to pretend that she didn't know Little One when she played with the other children. Little One didn't mind the other children. The only one she cared about was the handsome boy who lived in the moss close by her favorite climbing tree. He had tan skin, lighter than Jua's but darker than Little One's. His hair was sandy brown, like the dirt at the bottom of the river that Little One swam in. Little One had never seen his eyes close up, but she imagined them to be as green as the leaves in spring. The boy was at the river every day when Little One came to swim with the snakes. He would play with the tall, beautiful water nymphs for a while, giving each of them a wave goodbye, and then leave before Little One had been there an hour. Occasionally, they would say hello to each other, comment on the temperature of the water. Little One thought his voice was more melodious than the birds in the morning and softer than the wind in the leaves. Little One was jealous of the blue water nymphs. She would give anything to be like them. Beautiful, carefree, well-liked, instead of the misfit she was. One day, she hatched a plan. She went to the field of blue daisies before going to the river extra early. She rolled around until her skin was as blue as the flowers around her. When she got to the river, she went over to the rock that the boy normally sat on and sat down. The boy came around and saw her. He smiled and said hello. Little One returned the pleasantry and reveled in the attention he was bestowing upon her in her new blue skin. For once, Little One didn't feel like an outsider. She felt accepted and loved. She slipped into the cool water and swam around. Upon breaking the surface, she noticed that the boy wasn't watching her anymore. Lifting an arm to summon his attention, she noticed that she was pale white again. The blue had been washed away. Humiliated, Little One ran away from the river straight home. She wept and wept. A small hand rested on her shoulder, and she looked up to find a girl standing above her. The girl sat down, and Little One took in her appearance. She had short hair the color of ripe wheat, and skin as pale as Little One's. Her eyes were gray, but they were anything but dull, as the color swirled around her pupils. Her arm from her wrist to her elbow was covered in red and pink ribbons, Little One noticed. Little One had seen this girl before. She had seen her with the other children. The children would laugh at the girl. "Look at the freak," one boy would call. "Look how she slashes her arms on the rocks. She is not like us." Little One examined the arms of the girl where the mean boy had said she wounded herself. However, all little one could see were pretty little red and pink ribbons. Without words, the girl held little one. I'm sorry. Little one was grateful for the companionship. The two girls stood up and walked hand in hand back to the river. Together they jumped in, splashing the boy and his water nymphs in the process. They swam with the small snakes and laughed and smiled and had a good time. So maybe little one still wanted the boys to notice her, but now she had a real friend to play with. One who didn't mind the forlorn glances little one sent the boys' way, and even told her that one day he'd get sick of the slimy blue water nymphs, and on that day he'd swim with them. They would be 3 little children, seeing the world their own way together.
Nice.